I know it's here somewhere. Finally. Oh, it's time for the doctor. You're listening to Dr. Bill, the computer curmudgeon. Take it away, doctor.
Well, it's that time again, and the doctor is in. It's time once again for Dr. Bill, the computer curmudgeon. And I am in my living room today. I'm not in the studio. Studio's back there. I'm just sitting here minding my own business. Thought I'd do a show from here. Haven't done one from here in a while. And I'm also using a camera with just a built-in microphone, so if the sound sounds a little you'll know why. So anyway, here's the thing. We are proud members of the Tech Podcast Network, techpodcast.com. If it's tech, it's right here on Dr. Bill, the computer curmudgeon. We're also proud members of the International Association of Internet Broadcasters. Yes, indeedy. Alrighty, let's talk about some of the stuff that I blogged about this week on the old blog. The blog, of course, is drbill.tv, drbill.tv, as it says there on the screen. So, first thing we've got is that Comcast. Now, Comcast, in case some of you are not familiar with Comcast, Comcast is a cable provider that is universally vilified. They are thought of almost as badly as Microsoft. I mean, they're totally evil, okay? However, to get around their evilness a bit, they have decided to begin offering 2 gigabit per second internet speeds. I guess if you're evil, you have a lot of money, so I don't know what's causing that. But anyway, they're starting in Atlanta as a test market. Now, I have 1 gigabit. My beard's a little wonky, but that's okay. Never mind. I have 1 gigabit internet down to the old house here, and that's cool. But 2 would be better. However, I don't know if I want to deal with Comcast. They're not in this area anyway, but if you're in an area where there's Comcast, you know why you don't want to deal with them. But at any rate, their existing highest residential speed is 505 meg down. That's an odd number, 505. And it costs $399.95 per month. Yes. Now, this 2 gig system will be cheaper than that, but not a lot cheaper. Now, our 1 gig internet here, which, by the way, North State, yay, North State. And I know not everybody has the opportunity to be on North State unless you're in High Point, North Carolina, or general vicinity. You can't be on North State. You know, it's tough being you. You're not here, so you can get it. But anyway, so it's good. It's good to be fast. All right, next item. Google's Arc levels the playing field. What is Arc, you might ask? It's the app runtime for Chrome. Yes, ARC, app runtime for Chrome. It's going to allow you to run Android applications on your Chrome OS, which means your Chromebook. So basically, if you have an Android application, let's say, for instance, Cadre Bible is one of my favorite Bible software systems, and I have it on my phone, I have it on my tablet. Well, now I could have it on my Chromebook once they release this. This is all beta now. Hasn't been officially made available. But when it is, then you will be able to have Android apps running on Chrome. This is, of course, part of Google's plan to take over the world. Because if they can have an operating system running on a Chromebook, that is Chrome, which is a version of Linux, I might add, then they can use these runtime systems to run Android operating system apps on it. It broadens the potential of that operating system, you see. So that's good. Now, this next one you'll have to go to the blog for. It's actually a post of a YouTube video of Delphi. If you're not familiar with Delphi, Delphi makes car parts. They don't make cars. They just make parts for cars. And they have been in business a very long time. Well, they have developed a self-driving car system which they installed in a Volvo. I believe that's a Volvo. It's one of those foreign cars. Anyway, installed it in there, and they allowed the car to drive itself across the U.S. Yes. In other words, from one side of the country all the way to the other on its own. Now, to be fair, they did have a driver behind the wheel, and he did drive in the cities. Okay? They only let it drive out on the open road. So baby steps, okay? But it's still cool. Hashtag Delphi Drive, because everybody's got to have a hashtag these days. Anyway, but you can watch the video. Took them 9 days to drive across the U.S. with an automatic driving car. Yes. Okay, now here's one for you, those of you that might think that this is April 1st stuff. Will Microsoft open source Windows? I know you're going, right. Well, I understand that. I think the same thing. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but weirder things have happened, right? Yeah. So Microsoft could possibly, eventually, one day after the world ends, open source Windows. You see how reasonable I think it is that they might do this, because they've been anti-open source for a very long time. Now, they are getting better. Now that Bill Gates is not running the joint, a little bit better. Anyway, the Microsoft technical fellow Mark Russinovich, which by the way, Mark Russinovich wrote sysinternals tools, many tools for Windows that weren't in Windows. So he wrote them. He is now working for Microsoft. And he is a technical fellow, which means he makes a lot of money. Anyway, he says the feature includes open source Windows, and it could happen. It's definitely possible, he says. Right. He reportedly told an audience at ChefCon. What? ChefCon? Anyway, conference in Santa Clara this week. It's a new Microsoft, he says. Yeah. Every conversation you can imagine about what we should do with our software, open versus non-open versus services, has happened. And I think it's a lot more likely that it'll eventually become a service. You'll be paying Microsoft every month for the rest of your life, forever, onward, and that's just the way it is. That makes more sense with Microsoft's desire to be the evil empire and take over the world, is to have you pay them forever. Yes, rather than releasing the software open source and you pay nothing forever. How likely is that to happen for Microsoft? Yes, you get my point. Anyway, so whoa! Yes, that is the Geek Software of the Week drum roll, which tells us it's time for Geek Software of the Week. Geek Software of the Week this week is Pandora Recovery. And no, it's not about recovering your radio station. No. Although I work with radio stations, recovering them would be good if they went down, but that's not the point. The point is, this is a product called Pandora. And I assume that Pandora Recovery comes from the fact that when you open Pandora's box and evil comes out, then you want to fix it. Just, you know, the whole point is to close the box. But anyway, apparently they haven't figured that out yet. So they came up with this software, Pandora Recovery, and it is freeware. So the point of this is that you can undelete files that have been deleted. Now, we're not talking about recovering a drive that's died, dead, gone, vaporized, poof. No. We're talking about files that you just deleted and went, oops, and decided you want it back, and you haven't written anything on the drive that might have written over that file. So this software allows you to go in and say, okay, find a file that was created between this date and that date, but has possibly been deleted, and then you can click recover, and poof, it comes back. Because after all, as you might well know, files really aren't ever deleted. They're just marked as no longer there, and then eventually something may get written over it, and that would actually truly make it hard to get back. But If you just turn the little bit back on and say, yep, it's still there, then boom, it's still there. So it does many things. You can search for deleted files. You can do that according to file name, file date, file creation date, last access date. It has browse, search, preview, recover. It has surface cluster scan. It has recover, archive, hidden, encrypted, compressed files. Lots and lots of stuff this thing does. And it's free, which is good. All right. Now let's talk about some things that were April Fool's pranks. Because every April 1st, the computer world tends to throw things out there that are foolish. April foolish, at least. Anyway, the one that I saw first, and I'm sure there were many that others saw first, but this is one I saw first. Domino's had a driverless delivery vehicle sneak peek video. Basically, it looks like a little blue motorcycle thingy with blue eyes that drives around and delivers pizzas. Right, and there's a video on YouTube, which I've linked to here in the blog, drbill.tv, go check it out. And it's odd. It's actually quite cute looking in a weird way. So maybe one day they'll deliver pizzas with a robot. I don't know if I'd answer the door if a robot was standing there saying, hi, here's your pizza. You know, because I think it would probably just knock you in the head and take over your house. But anyway. Okay, CERN. You remember CERN? Those are the folks that created the Large Hadron Collider, which when started was supposed to destroy the world by sucking into a giant black hole. Didn't happen, but it was supposed to. Many folks thought that it would, but it didn't. At least not yet. Give them time. Anyway, they released a press release on April 1st. April 1st, keep that in mind, and they said, researchers at the Large Hadron Collider just recently started testing the accelerator for running at higher energy levels, higher than 13 TeV, and have already found new insights into the fundamental structure of the universe. Although 4 fundamental principles, the strong force, the weak force, the electromagnetic force, and gravity have all been well documented and confirmed in experiments over the years, CERN announced today, April 1st, that there is the first unequivocal evidence for the force. Very impressive this result is, said a diminutive green spokesperson for the laboratory. The force is what gives a particle physicist his powers, said CERN theorist Ben Kenobi of the University of Mos Eisley, Tatooine. It's an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us and penetrates us and binds the galaxy together. This is what the press release said. The researchers are as yet unsure what exactly causes the force. Students and professors at the laboratory have already been starting to harness its power. Practical applications include long-distance communication, influencing minds, and lifting heavy things out of swamps. Yes. Kenobi says that he first started teaching the ways of the force to a young lady who was having trouble revising for her particle physics exams. It's probably an academic term concerning revising her proposals. Who knows? Anyway, she said that I was her only hope, said Kenobi. So I just kind of took it from there. I designed an experiment to detect the force and passed on my knowledge. Kenobi's seminal paper, May the Force Be With EU, get it? A strong argument that his experiment should be built in Europe persuaded the CERN Council to finance the installation of dozens of new R2 units for the CERN data center. That's, of course, spelled C-E-N-T-R-E, data center. Anyway, these plucky little droids are helping physicists to cope with a flood of data from the laboratory's latest experiment, the thermodynamic injection energy, or TIE detector, recently installed at the LHC. We're very pleased with this new addition to CERN's accelerator complex, said data analysis Luke Daniels of Human Cyborg Relations. The TIE detector has provided us with plenty of action, and what's more, it makes a really cool sound when the beams shoot out of it. But the research community is divided over the discovery. Dark matter researcher Dave Vader was unimpressed, breathing heavily in disgust throughout the press conference announcing results and dismissing the cosmological implications of the force with the quip, "Asteroids do not concern me." Rumors are growing that the rogue researcher hopes to delve into the dark side of the standard model and could even build his own research station someday. With the academic community split, many are tempted by Vader's invitations to study the dark side, especially researchers working with red lasers and anyone really with an evil streak that looks good in dark robes. So there you go. May the Force be with them, I suppose. Anyway, then of course there was the Smart Box. And this was an announcement of a new device called the Smart Box by Inbox, which the video here makes it look remarkably like a standard mailbox. Yes, you'll have to play the video and see that. And then there was Halo Piggyback, which I don't know if I completely understand, although it may have something to do with video games. Anyway, and then finally, we will also mention Google allowing you to play Pac-Man on Google Maps. Now, I did read a commenter that said, but you really can play Pac-Man on Google Maps. I just did. So it's not an April Fool's joke. That's somewhat missing the point. They did it for April Fools. So just play with Pac-Man. Enjoy yourself. Anyway, yesterday, as I record this, was April the 4th, 2015, which makes it 40 years since the beginning of Microsoft. Microsoft is officially 4 years old. Now, I go back far enough that I remember that Microsoft was the new kid on the block, because I'm a geezer. Anyway, see, back in the day, IBM was the evil empire and Microsoft were the good guys. That changed quickly. They're now the evil empire. So anyway, Bill Gates, who stepped down as CEO, is the co-founder and is still very close to the company and its employees. He wrote a letter, an open letter to the company, where he said that things were still going well at Microsoft. He was pleased with Satya's leadership, who replaced him, of course, and Microsoft is better positioned than ever to lead in the advances in computing and so forth. And he gave evidence of such things as products like Cortana, Skype, which they bought, Skype Translator, HoloLens, which looked pretty cool, I must admit, if they ever get it out there, and a few other of the many innovations that are on the way, he says. So, you know, good old Bill Gates. See, I still ponder occasionally the fact that he and I are the same age. It's annoying. Just means we're both geezers. But at any rate, at least he retired. I haven't retired yet. Still doing stuff. He's still doing stuff. He's writing letters anyway. This is an article from Geek Snack, which I had not seen before, but hey, it's kind of a bloggy thing by Jason Moth, who wrote about the 40th anniversary of Microsoft. And I'm glad he did, because otherwise I'd have never known that it was the 40th anniversary of Microsoft. And it made me feel just a bit older. 40 years? I mean, come on! I remember when they first announced the very first product. Yee. Anyway, I mean, I was like 20 years old then, so I was out and about, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's about it for this week. Well, a slightly depressing note to leave on, but anyway, join us again next time. Remember, until then, that the doctor is out of here.
Dr. Bill, the Computer Curmudgeon, is a production of drbillbailey.net with all the honors, rights, and privileges thereunto appertaining.